Okay, so let us begin. So last class, this is what we learned, right? So we talk about two approximation techniques which we are using on two different number systems, right? Fixed point, floating point, we see that. And then based on that, we see that there is rounding and chopping, right? So here, first thing, last class, we see how a rounding is obtained, right? We obtained it by using the fact that the fixed point numbers are uniformly spaced with a uniform spacing b to the power negative t. So for any alpha, right, you can always find a fixed point number in between half of the uniform spacing on either sides of alpha, right? So based on that, we found the rounded value of alpha, right? So right, so this is actually the rounded value of alpha in a fixed point system, right? So in this case, we see that, right, this half means it has to be half in base b, right? So then, so in base 10, in base 10, half is 0.5, right? So you know that. So in base 2, in base 2, it is 0.1, right? In base 2, in base 4, I believe it is 0.2, right? Because it is 0.25 times 1 upon 4. So 2 times 1 upon 4. So that is half, right? So in base 8, it will be 0.4, right? So that similarly for any base, you can write it down, right? So that is how you define the base, right? So you define this half, right? So not always you put 0.5, right? If you are working on base 10, you put 0.5. If it is a base 2 number, then you put 0.1 there. If it is a base 4 number, then you put 0.2 there, right? So that is how you do the approximation, right? So here, if a real number alpha is given, then you can always compute the values, right? So let me start with an exercise. Right, so Right, so here the question is, let us round this number 4 point, right, 13457 in base 10, right, and length 4, fixed point numbers. So now here you know that your alpha is this, right, 4.13457. Your B is 10, right, your T is 4. Right, so you know that in this formula, right, so we already see how to derive this formula. So in this formula, now you know what are the alpha, B and T. So you can find Fi of alpha, right, because that is what you want to find. So Fi of alpha is equal to B to the power minus T. So 10 to the power minus 4 times integer part of 4.13457 times 10 to the power 4 plus half in base 10, so it is 0.5. Right, so you can simplify this number. So this is 10 to the power minus 4 times integer part of this, right? So multiply by 4, 10 to the power 4. So 41345.7 plus 0.5. Right? So you multiply by 10 to the power 4. So you move decimal 4 place back. So it is 41345.7. So now if you add within the integer part, it is 10 to the power minus 4 times 41346.2. Right, so when you add these two numbers, you get 41,346.2. So integer part of this is clearly, so it is 10 to the power minus 4 times. Integer part of this, you know it is 41,346. Right, so that should be the, or that is the integer part, right? So clearly when you multiply by 4, you get 4.1346. Right, so if you round this in Fi of 10, 4, you get this value. Right, so this is how you round a number in fixed point numbers. Right, so let's do another example. Sorry. Right, so let us round this number in base 2, length 3. So now you know values, so I can write it straight away. So Fi of alpha, this time I'm not writing what is alpha, what is B, but is T. So now you know everything. Right? So I can write this down. So it is 10 to the power minus 3 times integer part of 0.1101 times 2 to the power 3 plus half, but this time half in base 2. So you know it is 0.1. Right, so this is important. Writing half in that base is an important part. Right? So that is 10 to the power minus 3 times So, you know, if it is 2 to the power 3, you move 110.1, right? So you move 3 places back. So 110.1 plus 0.1, right? So this addition is in base 2 now, right? So you know that. If you are doing in base 2, then you add in base 2, not like in base 10, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2, so it is 10, right? So you should know that. So it is 10 to the power minus 3 times integer part of this is 0, so 1, so 111.0. Okay? So when you add these two numbers, you get 111.0, right? Because 1 plus 1 is 0 and 1 goes to the front, right? So that is how, sorry, this is 2, sorry, yeah? I'm writing it 10, it should be 2. Because my base is 2, so everything is 2, right? So now this integer part is 111. So it is 2 to the power negative 3 times 111. So if you multiply, it is 0.111. So if you round this number in Fi of 2, 3, you get 0.111. So this is how the rounding is being done in fixed point numbers, right? In Fi of b, t, they round according to this formula, right? So we already see how to derive that formula. So they round according to this formula, right? So now what we are going to do is we are going to see how we can do the rounding in the other number system, right? Floating point number system. Okay, so let's talk about rounding. The second one, right? Right, so in rounding in floating point numbers, right? Okay, so we are going to see rounding in floating point numbers. So again, the same argument, right? Right, so now, again, let alpha be a given real number, right? So, right, so you know that so when we talk about floating point numbers, right? So we see that, right? We can write alpha such that alpha falls in between these two intervals. If alpha is a positive number, then alpha can be placed in between these two, right, intervals, these two success points, right, b to the power e minus 1 and b to the power e, right? If alpha is a negative number, then you can place alpha in between these two, right? So this is something we studied, right? So this is something we studied in the definition of floating point numbers, right? So when we talk about floating point numbers, this is something we did as an exercise, right? So when we try to write down the formula for the exponent. So, and we also know any real number can be written in the floating point form, right? Right. So an f which can be written as a fraction, right? So we see that any real number, right? If you are given a real number, then you can place it as a, you know, in O level you might have learned this as a scientific notation, right? A fixed fraction times a strict fraction times some exponent of the base, right? So you can do that, right? At the same time, this is also something we proved, right? The floating point numbers has a uniform spacing, right? B to the power E minus T, right? So because of this, right? So let me write down here. If I say this is the floating point numbers of B to T, right? So let me place the alpha somewhere here, right? So you will have, right? Right, so you will have floating point numbers placed at an interval B to the power E minus T, right? So that is the uniform spacing concept, right? But because you put alpha here, right? So if you go half B to the power E minus T on either sides, right? So I have to go a little less. Right, so you go half B to the power E minus T, then you will cross this floating point number, right? So suppose your alpha is placed somewhere here, right? So this length is still B to the power E minus T, right? So if you go half B E minus T this side, and you go half B E minus, E minus T this side, you will cross this floating point number, right? So the dashed ones are the floating point numbers, right? So you can have floating point numbers at a spacing B e to the power minus T. This is something we proved, right? So if I throw the alpha can be any real number, right? So suppose that it falls here, then from that alpha, if you go half of the spacing left side and half of the spacing right side, you will cross exactly one floating point number. Or if your alpha falls here, if you go half this side, you will cross exactly one floating point number, right? So then that means, right? So according to this picture, you can say that right? So in between these two places, right? So you go alpha minus b e to the power t on the left side, or alpha plus half b e to the power t on the right side. And so if you go left and right, then you will see definitely one fixed or one unique floating point number in the middle. So that is what we wrote here. It is same for both cases, right? So both pictures, it clearly indicates you that is what happens. So from this, we will try to get a formula for FL of alpha, right? So like what we did, right? So let's multiply by BTE, right? So from this, okay? So alpha B T minus E minus half is less than B T minus E times FL of alpha is less than alpha times this, right? So you multiply by B T minus E on both sides, right? So when you do that, you will have this. So now what you do is you take this block, right? So this block separately. So I write down B T minus E FL of alpha is less or equal to alpha B T minus E plus half. So I write this as a equation number 1, right? Now I take the first block and add 1 on both sides. Right? So now I take the first block, right, and add 1 on the both sides. So then I get alpha B T minus E plus half is less than Bt minus E times FL of alpha plus 1. So that is equation number 2. Right? So the second half of the inequality, I write it like that. The first half of the inequality, I take it and add 1 on both sides. Right? So when I add 1 on both sides, I get alpha BET plus half is less than BET minus E FL of alpha plus 1. So now if I combine 1 and 2, I will get a double-sided inequality. Okay, so if I add 1 and 2, right? So you have this BT to the power b to the power t minus e times FL of alpha, let's say equal to alpha b t minus e plus half is less than b times b to the power t minus e FL of alpha plus 1, right? So that is what you have here. So now, because of the definition of floating point numbers, right? So you know that FL of b to the power t minus e is an integer, and this one is a next integer. So you have a real number alpha b t minus e plus half in between two successive integers, right? So in that case, is the integer part of this, right? So alpha b t minus e plus half, right? So now you know the notation, right? For the integer part, we put a square bracket, right? So if we put a number in between square bracket, then you know it is the integer part of that, right? So from this, FL of alpha is equal to b to the power e minus t times alpha b to the power t minus e plus half. Right, so this is the floating point representation. Right? Same argument in half, right? Right, same argument. Half means half in base b, right? So 1/2 means it is 1/2 in base b. Right, so this is how you get the formula for the rounded value of a real number in the floating point number system, right? So if a real number alpha is given, you can find the rounded value of that alpha in the set of all floating point numbers FL of b comma t, right? And that rounded value has the formula b to the power e minus t times integer part of alpha times b to the power t minus e plus half, right? So that is the formula for the rounded value. Right? So let's look at the example again. Okay, so round this value. So let me name this alpha so it is easy for you now, right? So round this value alpha 325.6175 in a floating point number FL base 10 with length 6, right? So that is the formula, or that is how you have to round it. Okay, so no, not 6. Let's change it to 5. So that you can see. Let's say length 5. Right. So let's make it smaller. So now alpha is given, right? So you know alpha, but you know that if you want to apply this formula, alpha known, b you know it is 10, t you know it is 5, and but e you have to find. So the first step, if you want to round it in floating point numbers, first step is you have to write down alpha in the following form, right? So alpha is 0.32561 75 into 10 to the power 3. Right. First, you write down alpha in that form, right? To see, this gives me E is equal to 3. Right, so without writing it also, you can see E, right? Just for the example, I am showing you the work, right? But this work is not necessary, right? So you don't need to write this work, show this work, right? So all you need to do is you need to write down E is equal to 3, right? Because by looking at this, you know E is equal to 3, right? So as long as you write the E correct, it is fine. You don't need to do this. If you can do it by mind, right? By using your mind, you can do it. So you don't need to show this work, right? Just this one is enough, right? So E is enough, okay? So now you know E, right? So I know alpha is this, 5.6175. My E is 3. B is 10, T is 5. So now I can apply the formula, right? I can directly apply the formula. So I want to get FL of alpha is equal to B, E minus T, so 3 minus 5, integer part of alpha, that is 325.6175 times 10 to the power T minus E, so 5 minus 3 plus half in base 10 is 0.5. So you can simplify these numbers, right? So without a problem, you can simplify these numbers, right? So that is 10 to the power negative 2 times, right? Let me put a square so that you understand that it is an integer part, right? So this is what? 32561.75 plus 0.5. Right, 10 to the power 2. So that is 63232,561.75. Now if you add and then get the integer part, then you get it is 10 to the power minus 2 times integer part of this is this 32562.25. So that is 10 to the power minus 2 times 32562. So that is 32.562. Okay. Sorry, 325.62. What am I doing? Right, so 10 to the power minus 2, right? So it is 325.62. Okay, so that is the rounded value of alpha in FL 10,5. So now you can see that I have a big number, but when I round it in that floating point number, I have a different number, right? So 325.62. So I have some digits missing in this term. So that is how you do the rounding in floating point numbers, right? So similarly, you know, if it is a two digit base 2 number is given, you can do the same thing, right? So now you know the formula and you know how to do it. So you can try different examples as according to these formulas, right? So this is not a hard thing as long as the formula is known, right? So now this is rounding. So you can see that if I want to round after this point, right? So I know because the next point is 7, I move this and make it 2. Right? So that's something you already know. But here we have seen this in a formula. Right? So that is what we do. Now what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the other type of approximation technique, which is known as chopping. So chopping means you just cut down the digits. Right? So here in chopping, you just cut down the digits. So now let's talk about chopping in fixed point numbers. Right? So in fixed point numbers. Right? So again, let alpha be given. Right? So this time, right, so in rounding, what we do is we go half of the space left and right. But here, what we do is, say if this is your fixed point line, right, so B comma T, you know, you have two fixed points, right, and the uniform spacing is B to the power negative T, right, so that is the uniform spacing. Now I throw alpha here, so let's say alpha falls here. So in this case, right, you don't worry about going to the right side. You always go below alpha. Right? So you always go full. B to the power minus T. Right? So if you go B to the power minus T down, right, so you know that this is also B to the power minus T. Right? If you go from alpha, so if alpha falls anywhere in this interval, right? So if you go B to the power minus T from the alpha, you will not hit the next point or the previous point, right? So you only cross this point, right? So even if you put alpha here, right? So if you cross B down, B to the power T down, you will definitely cross this, right? So always, as long as alpha falls in between those two numbers, right, it doesn't matter where it falls. From that point, if you come B to the power minus T down, you will hit 1 point here. Okay? So that is the argument. So you have this. So from this, we can write a formula for Fi of alpha bar. Okay, so what you have is this: alpha minus B to the power minus T is less or equal to Fi of alpha bar less than alpha. Okay, so you have that. So what you do is you multiply by B to the power T. Right, so then you know alpha B to the power T minus 1 is less or equal to B to the power T times Fi of alpha bar less than alpha B to the power T. Okay, so you have this. You multiply by B to the power T. So again, you take two pieces. So let you take this first. So b to the power t, fi of alpha bar is less than alpha b to the power t. Right? So now you take this and move here and add alpha 1. So alpha b to the power t is less or equal to b to the power t fi of alpha bar plus 1. Right? So this is your equation 1 and this is your equation 2. Right? So because of the second half of the inequality, you get equation 1. Because of the first half of the inequality, you get the second equation, right? So you move the -1 to the other side, so you get this. So now if you combine both of them, you get this, right? So 1 and 2 together gives you b to the power t fi of alpha bar is less than alpha b to the power t is less or equal to b to the power t fi of alpha bar plus 1. Okay. So again, alpha b to the power t is a real number, right? Because alpha is a real number, you don't know how many decimals it will have. So alpha b to the power t is always going to be a real number. And it lies in between two integers, right? So it lies between b to the power t if alpha bar is a integer, right? And then plus 1 is also integer. So b to the power t times fi of alpha bar is actually the integer part of alpha b to the power t. So from this, you get fi of alpha bar is equal to b to the power negative t times integer part of alpha b to the power. Okay, so this is how the fixed chopped value of a real number alpha in fixed point number system will look like, right? So according to this formula, right? So let me give you two examples of this. Okay, example 1. So we want to find the chop value of 4.3126 in fixed point numbers base 10 length 3. So you know your alpha is 4.3126, base is 10, t is 3. That's all you need to find the chopped value. So fi of alpha bar is equal to b to the power negative t. So 10 to the power minus 3 times integer part of this alpha, right? 4.3126 times 10 to the power 3. Right? B to the power t. So this is 10 to the power negative 3 times 4312.6. And so when you multiply by 3, you get this. So integer part of this is 4,300 right? 4,312. So if you simplify this, you get 4.31. So chop value of this is, right? So now you know, if you want to break with this, so when you're chopping, you just X out the rest of the digits. Even it is 6, even it is 5, even it is 9, you don't need to worry, you just cut it down. Right? So that is what we do in chopping. So let's do one more example before we finish. Right. So it is a minus number. Right. So let us chop this value minus of 1.25 in this. And so now you know everything. And so let me straight away write the formula. Fi of alpha bar is equal to 10 to the power minus 2 times integer part of minus 1.125 into 10 to the power 2. Right? So that is 10 to the power minus 2 times integer part of minus 112.5. Right? So this part up to here you are fine. Right? So you know what is T, what is B, what is alpha. So you plug these values. So you get minus 1.125 times 10 to the power 2. So minus 112.5 and this. So now here comes the problem. Right? So what is the integer part of 112.5? So you know that integer part is the integer which is smaller than this. Right? So the integer which is smaller than this. So the integer which is smaller than this is not 1.22. It has to be minus 113. Right? So this is important. Because if you are looking at the number line, minus 112 is here, right? Minus 113 is here. Minus 1111 is here, right? So that is what your number line looks like. 112.5 is this. Right? Right? So the number smaller than that is minus 113, right? Not 112. Right? So that is important. Right? So then clearly this is minus 1.13. Right? So when you are finding the integer value of a negative number, you have to be careful about that. Right? So negative numbers, the integers smaller than the previous number goes on the left side. Right? So negative numbers are increasing, in a sense, the next values comes on the, when they go left, they actually decrease. Right? So that is the important part. Right? So not like positive integers, in negative integers, you have to be careful here. Right? So this is how you do the chopping in fixed point numbers. So what's left for us is how to do the chopping in floating point numbers, right? So that we will do in the next class. And then you can see that in all these rounding mechanisms, so far we studied 3. Tomorrow we will study the 4th one. So in all of them, you can see that there is a error, right? So between the real value and the approximated value, there is a difference, right? So in the next class, we are going to see the 4th type of rounding mechanism, that is chopping in floating point numbers. And after that, we are going to see how to estimate the errors we obtained by using this rounding mechanism. Right? So I will stop here, and then we'll talk about the rest in the next class.